So first off, what tools are you using besides Scipio for your tasks that are related to scheduling and reminders? Do you have a calendar tool that you use specifically, or are you using other like email reminders? What is your system like?
So, of course, with Tutor Doctor, we have a CRM system, Bang, and I utilize Bang for consultation reminders to clients. Those are sent out through there. When I am interviewing tutors, I utilize Microsoft Teams to complete those interviews. And then, of course, Teams will send out reminders. We were using Zoom. We've since gone away with Zoom because we do have Teams in place. Um, I think that's probably the only other two that I'm using that I can think of at the moment.
So does Teams basically give you like an appointment scheduling link, like similar to what you'd get with like Google or Calendly, and then you're able to
Yes.
send that to your tutors or your
So
prospective tutors, your applicants?
honestly, my recruiter is doing everything through Skipio. So we utilize Scipio heavily for recruitment. Initially, we were doing a 10-minute pre-screen phone call to the applicant just to see if they met the basics. If they met the basics, then it was scheduling them for an interview. Currently, what she's doing and what I had her to set up was send the pre-screen through questions through Scipio. So that's literally their first point of contact. We have an applicant that applies through Indeed. Once she's had a chance to review that resume, there's a link through Scipio that goes to all of the applicants that have applied. So this past week, I ran an ad on Indeed. I think she said there were about 28 that applied and about 15 met our criteria. She loaded all 15 into the system and she sent that out through Scipio for our pre-screen. Four so far have completed that pre-screen. And then she sends out an event link. She actually utilizes Calendly for applicants to go ahead and schedule their initial interview with her. Once they've interviewed with her and they pass her interview process, I send out a Teams link for them to interview with me. And that's usually our hiring process that they meet with the both of us.
Okay, that sounds like a great smooth process you've got, which I love to hear that you're able, instead of spending the time on a 10-minute phone call, you're able to get the pre-screen done so you can immediately get them to
Right.
an interview if they're right for it.
Correct. Because it was the phone tag, right? So you're calling an applicant, you don't reach them, they call you back, you may be on a call. And then I was looking at, and I have an operational background, so PDSAs, and I formerly managed clinics. It was like, what can we do to streamline this process? And we were utilizing too much time in a manual process where I felt like we could automate the process. And so when I talked to one of the other tutor doctor owners and she mentioned to me that she was utilizing Scipio, I said, this really could streamline what I'm doing on my end and make our lives a lot easier. And so the one thing, and we can chat about this, but I think there's a way that you can go in Scipio if they have not completed the pre-screen portion, that Scipio can send a reminder. My recruiter was saying, I think the reminder will go out to all applicants. So if I had 25 people and 10 of them filled it out, I only want to send to the 15 that did not. And I think there's a way to do that, but that is like one of my questions because she's manually going in to select the folks that did not complete the pre-screen to send them another reminder. So I'm thinking it has to do with a rule or something, but it's definitely decreased the amount of hours that she's having to spend calling multiple times before she gets the applicant on the phone to do the pre-screen.
So, yes, there are probably a few ways that we'd be able to set up making sure that only the people who need the reminder to finish it will get that reminder. So it will depend a little bit on exactly how the messages are set up now, but there
Okay,
are multiple options for making sure that like just those 15 people who didn't do it will continue
we'll
to get
get it.
reminders to do it. I know that one really, really quick, simple way that a lot of people do it is that they have their drip campaign set up with the pre-screen questions, and then at the end they they ask people to like reply yes or reply confirm when you've completed it, because by replying, you can then set up a rule that says if they reply to me, take them out of the campaign. And then you can also have them added to a different drip campaign. With that, we can consider the confirm a keyword. So if they reply with that keyword, they can get enrolled in another campaign that can say, hey, thanks for completing that. Here's your link to like schedule your interview or whatever, or we'll be in
That would
touch
be
with you to
great.
schedule your interview. So that's like the most basic way off the top of my head. There are other, maybe not more complicated, probably isn't the best way to explain it or to say it, but there are more, I guess, intense ways to also set some of those things up that our consulting team and our integrations team could maybe help with.
Perfect. Perfect. But
But yeah,
she loves it. I mean, it has literally taken the manual out of what she's doing with the hiring process. And, I know a lot of us owners, a lot of the TD owners are utilizing for clients and leads, and we do that as well. But I can definitely say I've seen the changes on the recruitment side where it has significantly impacted us. Not only an applicant applies on Saturday or Sunday, by Monday morning, they're automatically getting our pre-screen if they meet our requirements. So we're not delaying hiring and bringing on new tutors. So that's always great for business.
I love that very specific use case though that you have found. Um, I'm curious if I've heard this from other tutor doctor owners as well as other business owners who are dealing with like a staff that they're trying to deal with like payroll or getting people's hours recorded. Have you started at all using Skipio to automate people's reminders to like complete their like timesheets and things like that as well?
That has been phenomenal. I think we started the beginning of this year. My one of my admins sends out a reminder for payroll, and I believe she set it up to like week 3 of every month. Now, I will say the downside is I can't click a calendar to say on the 26th of every month. That is something I would like to see upgraded at some point, if at all possible, on you guys' end. It would be great if we can have a calendar to say the 26th of every month, send out a reminder to all of our tutors, the last day of every month, because she has to go in and count, how many
Yeah.
days to post that. So um, my payroll, all hours have to be submitted by the last day of the month, and I run payroll on the first of every month. And so I definitely saw an increase in getting my tutors to submit their session reports in a timely manner. Prior to implementing this, and I told her, I said, I know we can put like a drip campaign in the system, at least at the end of the 3rd week, to start sending out a reminder. And then again, 2 days before I run payroll, just as a reminder, please ensure that all of your session reports are entered into the system. And we started noticing we didn't have as many reports going into the next month. So if they tutored in the month of August, all of those session reports were entered in the month of August versus me having stragglers that would enter their reports in August into the month of September. So it's definitely um, increased more, I would say, efficiency with our payroll process by sending out those reminders. So as far as tutors go, those are probably the 2 main ways we use Scipio, is for the reminders for payroll and to get their reports entered, because that's how they get paid, as well as the recruitment. And then from time to time, if we have an event in the community, we'll just send out one message that goes to all tutors to say, hey, we're going to be at Stevens Creek Elementary from 10 to 2 on this day. If there are any tutors who are available to come out for that event, please let us know and call the office. We do need 1 or 2 volunteers. So that allows us to do a mass text out to our tutors, even if there's like an event coming up. So that's also been helpful. I guess another way we've used it for tutors, when we newly hire tutors, my recruiter sends out a Google link, and it asks, of course, first and last name, their date of birth, their favorite candy, favorite restaurant. And so we get that information. So when it's their birthday, we already know what their favorite restaurant is, and we can send a gift card. So that gives us that information. We send out birthday cards. So we collect birthdays, so she can send that out. Guess there's multiple ways we're using it on the tutor side.
Yeah.
So
Have
I'm
you
all
by
about
chance,
utilizing.
have you, do you have your tutors' birthdays in Skipio to send the automated birthday reminder text? I guess not reminder, automated birthday texts. Did you know you could do that?
No,
So if you have your tutors or really anyone's birthdays in their contact
clients as well
profile,
would be great.
yes. If you have their birthdays in their contact profile in Skipio, there's a like a button in the settings where you can say send. You can send like a default birthday text to everyone that's kind of a generic one, or for each particular contact, you could write them a personalized birthday text that would always send on their birthday.
I will have to look into that. See,
Yeah,
learning new things.
I can send you like just like a link with like a little walkthrough of like
That'll be
where to see
perfect.
and find those things. It's really easy to do. So I'll send
Okay,
you that afterward.
perfect.
I love that you have found this use case though for not just like reaching out to people or following up, but it's just like this employee appreciation of making sure you're gathering their information, that you're understanding them as people so that you can send a little personalized gift. Like that is such a nice thing that I think a lot of business owners, not that they neglect it, but that Scipio does have a way for you to help gather that information, which is sometimes the hardest part of it, is getting all that information in the first place.
And Google Docs. So we're big on
Yeah.
Google Docs. And so she'll create the form and we get to review it. So I meet with my team. Actually, I just gotten off with them. We meet every Wednesday, 9:30 to 10:30, 11-ish, depending on how much we have to cover. So they're always thinking about new ways of automating what they're doing. And so Google Docs, I would say we heavily utilize that amongst our admin team.
So my last question to you, it's kind of more of a general, I guess, business question, not necessarily a Scipio specific question. But what advice do you have for other business owners that want to increase the number of people who are either showing up or responding or just helping you be more efficient? What could you tell other business owners about things to do to accomplish those things?
I would say, and I guess this comes from like dealing with leads. What I've found, and this will be another show me how to do this again because it's been a little while. When it comes to leads, what was helpful was having just some very simple graphics that would go out to anyone who contacted us, and doing that for my leads as well as for current clients. But the more you send out, and not to be a pest, so to speak, but if on a monthly basis, there's a nice little graphic that we're working on now for progress reports. Well, progress reports have gone out. Do you need tutoring for your children? Contact us today. It's that marketing and them seeing our logo and seeing what we can offer. Be reminded that you called us at one point in time because you needed support. Well, here's just a reminder, we're still here. We can support you. But of course, at the end of the day, being any type of business owner, the leads are what allows you to stay in business. And so when you can generate just those touch points with individuals who have contacted you before, they do come back. And, when they see your logo, they're reminded about the services that you offer and what you can provide. It's an efficient use to utilize the system instead of trying to email folks who don't typically answer through email. And we have found that the majority of our clients actually prefer text. And so in our initial call to any client that signs up with us for service, we ask their preferred method of communication. And at least 85% will say text messaging. So when you look at such a high percentage, Now I can get information out to you. You see it, you may not need the service at this particular moment, but in the next 2 to 3 weeks or a month, you may need the service. Well, of course, that's going to increase your revenue because now they're calling you for services.
That's so perfect. That was so great. It's like it really does seem so simple in a lot of ways where it's like just like be there when they need you. And it's like, how do you know when they need you? It's like, well, you just kind of bother them every now and then in a very polite way and
Well,
they
and
respond.
And for us, I just had my admin, I told her we are located within three major school districts. Each of these school districts has anywhere from 25 to 35,000 schools in the area that we're in. So there's three large districts. We have a lot of phone calls. And so what I had her to do is for our business, go in and look at when progress reports are out, go in and look at when report cards are out, because a lot of parents are going to react. If they got a report card that had D's and F's on it, they're automatically thinking, oh my God, I've got to find someone to tutor my kid because they're failing geometry, they're failing biology, they're failing ELA. Well, we time our messages to come out around those times because now you've seen that graphic either the day of report cards or the day after, or we'll send just a friendly reminder a couple days before we know report cards, because then we're going to be the first call that they're going to make because they've seen our graphic that's been sent out. And then I can send something out to 300 leads at one time. So it helps, and it just plants the cookies in their brain of I did get a text message about tutoring, let me contact them.
That's so excellent. Wow. Like the strategy and the tactics there that you just explained are so golden. I hope you know that. Like you're clearly seeing results from it, but like hearing that, it's like I talk to a lot of business owners and like hearing how clearly you explain that is just like, oh, that's so perfect.
It's definitely helped. And I actually had someone who was working for another tutor doctor, and she was kind of managing Skipio and going in and putting out like Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to all of our clients, to all of our leads, Christmas messages, just any holiday is another touch point. That they're seeing our logo alongside for our business. Like I said, the report cards and progress reports are key for us to make sure we're targeting those time frames. But it was something that someone else was doing. So I told my team, I said, I do want to see if we can set up some time with the three of us and someone to kind of walk us through, because we have a lot of information and campaigns in Scipio currently. But like I mentioned with the recruitment piece, what you were saying about reply confirmed can take them out so that in 2 days, it's only going to send to the 15 people that didn't complete. Those are the kind of things we can, make our system a bit more efficient and streamline just a little bit more.